you so much for the Sham Foundation for inviting me back again. It was in 2011 I first came, and we were trying to work out that this is probably my 4th time here. So it's good to be back. It's nice to see some familiar faces, and it's great to see some new faces as well. We're going to be looking at this grand title of Navigating Excellence Through Education Management Systems. As somebody said earlier this morning, each one of these could take a whole session, seminar, day, week. So we're not actually looking at education management systems because we would be here all week. We are going to just look at one part of that, and we're going to look at learning management systems. Learning management systems are a type of EMS, education management systems. What is it? It's a software platform to help you manage your learning. Helps you track courses and track training. Why do we have them? Because it helps keep it in one place, it makes your life easier, and it helps students engage with learning. It offers a range of features. It can help you do online learning. It can help you do blending learning. There are a number of LMSs around. Lots and lots and lots and lots. Some I'm going to name. There are more than this. Some you may have heard of. Some may be new to you. There it is, Moodle, Canvas, not Canva, Canvas. Google Classroom, Blackboard, Talent LMS, Edmodo, Schoolology, Thinkific, Absorb LMS, Learn-Graphy. They are all types of LMS. Some of them familiar, some of them not so much. What I want you to do, and hopefully you've got your mobile phones, okay, I want you to scan that QR code, and I do hope this works. Scan the QR code and then answer the question, what LMS do you use? If you don't use one, please type none. All right, N-O-N-E, none. So if you know you use an LMS, please type its name. If you're not sure or you don't use one, please type none. Okay, so lots of LMSs available. It looks like a lot of you know Google Classroom. Some of you don't use one. Just out of interest, how many of you started using Google Classroom when the pandemic struck? Yeah, I thought so. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to show you very quickly Google Classroom, because when the pandemic struck, I was here in India. I was running a school near Mumbai, and very quickly we had to do something. And so we turned to Google Classroom. And I found it, for one, quite easy to use. It's quite easy to navigate, and that's what you want in an LMS. So one of the things I was running was a phonics program, and we had to work out how do we get this phonics online so that our students can still access it. If you're familiar with Google Classroom, my apologies for the next 5 minutes, you know this. All right? There are people in here, though, who don't know it, and so I'm just going to run through it because it gives you a live example of what an LMS does. They're all slightly different. I'll show you another one for something else later, but it just gives you that flavor rather than me talking theoretically about this LMS that's somewhere in your computer. This shows you a bit about what it actually does. So you have this home screen here, and every student will have one that looks similar. This is a teacher's version, the teacher's side of it. So the student side looks slightly different, but this is what you would see. So we have here the different classes that you can join. Ignore the content, you're just looking at what it does. So you have a stream where you can communicate with your students. You can write them the equivalent of an email, but it's all in one place. They don't have to go somewhere else to find the instructions. The instructions are there for them. You can also include in the instructions some video instructions. So if you've got children who aren't so sure of the language, give them a video. And that then helps them to know what to do. So that's where you've got your communication. And communication is a big part of an LMS. You have the classwork. So this here is just a week's class, but you could have lots and lots as you go through time. Let's say we're on Monday, and this is the lesson that we want to teach on Monday. You can also set this up so that it comes up day by day, so you can only see Monday on Monday, and then when you get to Tuesday, you can see Tuesday as well. Obviously, this is an old one, so it's already populated all the week. And again, you have the instructions there. And you can put links in there, so it might link to a PowerPoint, it might link to another video, and there are some more videos at the bottom there. This is the great thing about LMSs. It's the great thing about online learning is videos are very easy to include, and that helps a lot of people learn. Also there you can see that it has a handed in and an assigned section. So you know that you've assigned this to 12 students. Currently, none of them have handed it in. But as they hand it in, you can see. So you're not going round chasing up these bits of paper, saying, oh, have you given it to me? Have you given it to me? It's there. It's in one place. You can see the people in your class. So we've got all the students there. You can directly message to those people, or you can message to the entire class. And then you have a section here which is to do with the marks. So you can see across the top all the assignments, and then you can see your students, you can see what's missing, you can see the marks that they got, and it's all in one place. You're not looking around for your mark book. Your mark book for Standard 9 is here, your mark book for Standard 10 is here. You have it all in one place. And so there's the mark books there. Over here, on the left-hand side, we have the calendar, hopefully. And this shows what you have set. And for the students' version, it shows them when their assignments are due. So they can see it all on a nice calendar, and they know what they need to be handing in and when. Down here over the teaching bit, it also gives you a really handy section that says what you need to be marking. So it tells you there that all these pieces have been handed in, and it will also tell you if you have marked them. So if you look on the right-hand side there, if you'd marked them, it would say how many you've marked. And so this is your mark book in easy format, easy to see, easy to collate, and it really facilitates that online learning. So during COVID, this was fantastic because it meant we could carry on with our learning and our teaching. A question for you. It's all very well having an LMS, but why? I want to take a step back and get you to think, what are the current challenges in education? And I want you to talk to one person first. There's two of you talking. When on your table, the two of you have kind of come up with some challenges in education. Now, this may be wide challenges. This may be challenges in your school. Okay, you can think of both. So think of that in pairs first. When you've thought in pairs, can you join with another pair to make a 4? And then as there's 8 of you on a table, your 4s join together. And then when I ask for feedback, I'm just going to go round each table so that each table can give me maybe 2 things. All right? And then I can get lots of feedback about what you think are the current challenges in education. So pairs, 4s, 8s, and then I'll ask for feedback. Go. Okay. Now, spokespeople, I'm giving you a little bit of extra task of thinking, okay? If somebody before you has said one of your points, can you please choose another one? Okay. All right, so we have the microphone already in the middle of the room. That table, off you go. Can we please listen? You'll get your chance. For now, we need to be listening, and we're going with that table over there.
Good afternoon, everyone. The first point we would like to focus is the lack of discipline in the child. And second point, since the child is isolated most of the time, there is too much use of screen time, which is not being checked by the parents at home.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Over here.
Influence of social media. The child is able to Google up a lot of information even before the teacher can come up with a topic. So the basic understanding of the topic is done by them, so they oversmart the teacher's work.
Okay, yeah.
And the second point is about the grading system. We run behind the grading system, not realizing whether they've understood what they really ought to understand.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, yes. Over there.
Good afternoon, everyone. The first point is, in a class of, assume we have 30 students, we are not able to cater to the needs of the individual. The points that reach the individual is totally different, and it is not being done in an equal manner. And the second point is the assessment techniques. However, whatever be the methods we use for developing the concepts or the academic part, when we see, finally, when it comes to assessment, the assessment technique remains the same for every individual.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Now students are not allowed to take subject which they are interested in. Sometimes it is related with the job perspective what they are going to get. So in 11 and 12, parents compel them to take the subject which they are interested in. And also the curriculum is not updated to the current trend. So we ask them to memorize, learn what is given in the content. So that is also another thing.
Thank you very much. Who's holding a microphone? Wave it at me because I can't see you. Yeah.
Nowadays, most of the learners, they don't have the patience to learn from failures. They would like to switch to another one if they fail.
Yeah.
Already told. Then differentiation is there in learning activities everywhere, but when it comes for exam or assessment, there is no differentiation. Thank you.
Okay, can we get the microphone to some other tables? Brilliant.
Good afternoon to all of you. 2 points here. To bring a change in the education system, as educationists, we are all ready. Definitely, we need to look into the potentials of the children. It's not like they have to go by the books or whatever the school says. That freedom we are ready to give. But the acceptance by all the parents in the society, whether it will happen or not, that is a big question mark. And as a second point, there are disadvantages and advantages in the usage of mobile. Now, we are, at certain times we say the children, please use the mobile. We were telling all these things during pandemic. Now, totally we are saying, please do not use the mobile. This is controversial. So these are the 2 points. So these are the really 2 challenges we are having as educationists here. Thank you, ma'am.
Anyone from over here?
Two things, the impact of the pandemic on the family dynamic and also the learning gaps that it has created and lack of access to quality educators and education.
Here, actually 2 parents and I were discussing, and they clearly mentioned that we are not educators, so we do not know that perspective. But one thing is data overload. That is one thing. The students know more than the teachers. And yeah, that's a challenge for the teacher. And I mean, probably that's not the right way. The overload is there, and they do not have the discretionary power to select which one is correct, which one is not correct. This is what we discussed.
Okay, thank you. Anyone at the back over there?
because of the technology, I think the listening time of the children has come down. They're not able to concentrate in the class for 45 minutes. Sitting for 45 minutes is a big task for them. So that has to be taken care of.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. Oh, one more.
Oh, yeah. Government interference, too much of government interference in the education systems. And the second one, and not that they really care about education quality, but that's the crisis. Second one is these competitive exams and the coaching centers tend to focus on only certain things. So the whole value system in education has been declined sharply.
Great. Okay, thank you. I'm going to have to stop you there. I'm sorry, otherwise we really will be here all afternoon. Thank you so much for sharing your challenges. I had this ready in case you didn't have any, but obviously you've got a lot of challenges. An LMS can't solve all of them, I'm sorry, but it can help some of them, okay? And so it can help your lives by making it more efficient. One thing I would say is when you are thinking of an LMS, don't think technology first, pedagogy second, all right? You've got to think pedagogy first. How can the technology help that? So don't go looking for an LMS if you didn't know you needed one. Only look for an LMS if you are struggling with a certain aspect that the LMS can solve. Okay, technology is useful, but don't let technology become the first thing. All right, look at how you want to teach first, and then if you're stuck, bring the technology in. So it can help you with efficiency. It can help you with learning beyond the curriculum. We heard that this morning. It's come through in quite a lot of the sessions. We've got our curriculum. We don't have time for extras. Well, use your LMS for those extras. Those children who are really keen on learning something can go and access it in their time. They can access it maybe in their break times. They can access it when they are available to access it. It's flexible. It means that children can access learning not just during the school day. It can promote blended learning. So blended learning is online and in-person learning, and it blends together. So rather than you spend your 50 minutes of your lesson telling the children about something, downloading information to them in the lesson personally, why not get them the night before to read that information? Why not get them to watch a video on that information? Then they can come to your lesson, and rather than listen to you for 50 minutes, you can have a discussion. You can talk to them about what did you learn? What did you not understand? What did you find difficult? How can we implement this? How can we use this in real life? And so you're turning learning on its head, in a way, and you get to do the interesting bits with the children, and they get to do the download bit on their own when they are able to do it. So blended learning is a really good way of using an LMS. Key features, it organizes it. You can create modules, you can create courses. It enables messaging, announcements, and forums, so there can be a bit of discussion online. You can include quizzes and tests. It tracks and monitors. It can work out the scores for you. You can program in your answers, you can program in your rubrics, and it will do it for you. And it can be flexible and adjust to your needs. So it saves time. And again, we've heard a lot about AI this morning. Now they're bringing AI into management systems, and so it can actually do your marking for you. I wouldn't rely on it just yet. It doesn't always get it right, but it will, and it's getting there. So it can save you huge amounts of time. You've got 100 books to mark. Let AI do the first marking. Go through it, have a look at it. It can even give feedback. But again, check it. You can have a wide range of digital resources all in one place. As we heard just then, students use devices. In the pandemic, we were saying, use your mobiles. Now we're saying, don't use your mobiles. Well, let's teach them how to use their mobiles. When is it good to use it? When is it not good to use it? What content is good to look at? What content not so good to look at? They're going to use their mobiles. So let's give them content that is going to help them rather than social media, TikTok, and all of those things. You also get dashboards. And if you're like me, I love a good dashboard. It tells you who's done what, who hasn't done it, what you need to do next, and you can see it all on one page. Why is it useful for the students? Because they can access it anytime and anywhere. It can also give you self-paced learning. Again, we've heard this morning about personalized learning. It doesn't necessarily mean that every child has to do A, B, C, D. You might find that some children would benefit more from doing A, C, D, or even A and D, or starting at C. And it can be personalized to the child. So they don't have to do bits that maybe they already know, or they might want to do extra bits because they're struggling with something. It can also be self-paced, so they can go at their speed. Often we find, I think I also teach in a classroom, you find that sometimes some children have got to there and other children are still here. Maybe they can go home and they can do that extra bit in between and they can catch up, or at least learn more than they've managed in your classroom. And as I keep saying, it's all in one place. You can even get your e-books on there, so you don't have to have that bag weight. I remember when I was teaching up in Mumbai, children coming to school with their big bags, bigger than they are. Now they can come to school with a laptop, and it's all on there. Benefits for parents, improved communication. I wonder how many of you as parents say to your children at the end of the day, "Oh, what did you learn in school today?" Nothing. As parents, we often don't know what children have learned because they learn nothing. But if you have an LMS and the parents are able to see what the children are learning, they can ask them questions about it, they can interact, they can get involved in the learning. And actually then parents know the fantastic work that you are doing in school. So often what you do in school is not seen by parents because their child says they learn nothing. So share. You can share what's being done with the parents. And it enables parents to support that learning. It can also give those parents who may not have the ability to do calculus, it can give them a little help tip, and so they can then work with their child on it without having to say, "Oh, actually, I don't know how to do that." And so you can have tips for parents. You could have parenting sessions in there also. That's an LMS for students. But an LMS for continuous professional development is also really, really useful. And I think it's now 50 hours, is it, you have to do of training every year? Yes? 50 hours of training every year. Well, how do you account for that training? How do you know you've done 50 hours? Is it official training? And so an LMS is one way of accounting for it. It's one way of having the training in one place. I'm going to show you a demo of National College. It is a UK-based one, so it wouldn't be relevant to you because it has all the UK statutory training, but I just want to show it to you as a sample. So again, it's organised very similarly. There's all these different courses that are available. You can look there and you can say, okay, I want to improve my online safety. So we can go to online safety. And then we've got here a library of online safety. Most of this one is based on videos. So you sit and you watch a video. And then at the end, there may be some questions to answer. And you have to get 80% to pass. And then it will also generate a certificate for you. And that certificate says, this person has studied such and such, and it took them 1 hour. And that is your 1 hour of accredited training. Over here, we have the courses, the webinars, lesson plans, watch lists. You can also discover the latest government information. There's reviews, there's news. Here, you can add your own CPD. So this is one that's done by the company, but you can also add in a record of what you've done in your class or in your school. You can add in other training that you've done from other providers. And so again, the LMS keeps it all in one place. And if you are an admin, you can also see a dashboard. And this shows me, there you go, this shows me how many teachers in the school have signed up, how many teachers have done their first training, how many teachers have finished their first training, what training have they done. It also gives you the ability to assign training. So if you think that, okay, in my school, we have a real need for learning more about how to mark books. So you can go in here, you can see, okay, there's a training on marking books. I'm going to assign that to these teachers. But this teacher and this teacher, they don't need that. They need more on how to make their lesson interactive. So I'm going to assign that to them. And so it becomes personalized learning. And so each teacher gets the learning that they need. Now that can be assigned by the management, that can be assigned by your line manager, or you yourself can go in and you can have a look and think, oh, that looks really interesting. I'm going to learn more about that. I'm going to learn more about that. What's really nice about a learning management system is it's in one place. You can Google it and you can say, oh, I want to learn about this, and then it'll take you there, 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 there. And you don't know then which one to do because they all look good. Whereas here, you can see it all in one place. Okay, I'm doing a whistle-stop tour here. So if you are looking for a management system for teacher CPD, you want one that does personalized learning paths. You want one that does micro-learning. As teachers, we don't have time to sit down an hour a day and do some learning. But we might have time to do 10-minute little micro-learning. So we've got 10 minutes while we're waiting for something. Get your phone out, do a little bit of micro-learning. You want it to have certification and badging. We like to do something and get a certificate. Have it interactive and collaborative. It might be that there's a forum there where people who've done the training have written about it and they've asked questions and you can join a forum. Access to a variety of resources. So it might be that you have videos in there. It might be that it's a PowerPoint, different ways of learning. And you can track and analyze that learning. It's available on your mobile, so you can do it anywhere. And it might also integrate with other tools. So you don't even have to put in your teachers. You can use your teacher list from your MIS and it'll input it into the LMS, and that saved you a whole load of time. Again, I go back to when you choose an LMS, think to what are my problems, what is my pedagogy, and then think what LMS do I need. Don't do it the other way around. So look at what your needs are, what problem are you trying to solve, and then have a look at what it is you need. Look at the criteria that LMSs provide. I told you a whole list of 10 at the beginning. There's probably 50, 60. And if you phone them up and say, I'm interested in your LMS, they will tell you theirs is the most wonderful, fantastic LMS and you should buy it. Do your research first. Have a look, see what you need and what you want, and then go and look at the LMS. Evaluate your options. Get them to do a demo with you. Get them to let you use it for a couple of months. Try it out. See if it is what you want. Don't just agree because of their fantastic sales pitch. Ask these questions. What are your needs? What are your objectives? Try it out. Is it intuitive? Or are you going into it and thinking, I don't know where to go next, I don't know what to do? Content management and delivery. Is it easy to search? Is it easy to find what you want? Does it integrate with what you've already got? Does it assess? Does it evaluate? How does it use AI? Does it enable you to communicate and collaborate? Can you customize it? Can you say to the people selling it, oh, I'd like it to do this. Can you ask it to do this? Can you make it do this? Can you scale it up? There's some that are wonderful for 200 children, but if you try and do it for 2,000 children, they get stuck. Okay, so think about scalability. And also think about tech support. Do you have an IT person in your school who can oversee it? Is there a helpline you can phone 24/7? Because I know and you know tech problems don't happen at the right time. They always happen when you are just about to do something and you need help now. Is it available? Also think about data protection. In the UK, I think they are data protection overload. Okay, we're not allowed to do this, not allowed to do that, not allowed to do the other. In India, it's kind of a bit the other way. But I think hopefully they'll meet somewhere in the middle and data will be protected to the amount that it needs to be protected. But think about that. And obviously, cost is going to be involved. Some cost a lot, some are free. And read people's feedback. Look at their reviews. And again, try it out. When you implement it in school, it doesn't happen like that. Talk to people. Talk to teachers. Yes, it is a management decision because it involves budget. But the teachers and the students are going to be the ones using it. So make sure it works for them. So plan it, look at it, work it out. Then provide training. I know when we suddenly went online in the pandemic, there wasn't time for training. And so we literally said, okay, this is the platform we're using, learn it. And you had to produce videos and you had to upload the videos, but if they couldn't get online to get the video, but we have time now. So plan it, train the teachers, train the students. And again, make sure that support is ongoing. You don't give one training and then go, right, off you go. Keep the training going. We've started it after a month. How's it going? What difficulties are you having? After a year, is it still working? Can we improve it? What do we need to change? And so it's an evolving process. It's not a one-time decision. What are the challenges? Some people are resistant to change. Some people are particularly resistant to technology. Oh, I can't do that. But it's about saving time. And if you can save time on the things that tech can do, you can do things that tech can't do. Technical issues, again, make sure you've got the facilities in place to enable it to run. I know in our school, and this is the UK, our computers are always getting stuck. And they run out of memory. And the students are there going, it won't work. Well, it's no good if it doesn't work. So make sure your computers have enough memory to run the system that needs to run on it. And again, training needs, make sure you've got the training in place. What about the future? of LMS. AI and machine learning is going to become more and more a part of it. And I think it's going to take away the bits that we find tedious, and it's going to help us and enable us to do the bits that it can't do. That relationship with the students, that getting to know the students as individuals and encourage them and motivate them. Gamification. Students are on their phones a lot, and they expect everything immediately, and they don't have that attention span. And that's because it's all gamified. It happens fast. LMSs will start gamifying it. I'm not sure if that's good or not, but they will. And it will enable students to learn in the way that they are used to learning. Virtual and augmented reality. Well, if you can't go to see the pyramids physically, let's go in our virtual reality. Let's go see the pyramids, do a 360-degree tour. Let's connect with a school in another country. Let's have a Zoom call. Let's talk to them. There's so many possibilities that open up. Mobile learning, again, it's available here and there. Data analytics, your markbook in one place, and it'll give you all sorts of things. It'll say this person took this long to do, this person did it this fast. It'll give you all sorts of data you might ever want to do. Social and collaborative. It could go the other way and enable us to all learn on our own. But if we use it properly, it can enable us to collaborate and work together. And not just in a room, but in a school, in a country, and across the world. And it will give us accessibility and inclusivity. There's loads and loads of learning tools on the internet that enable more and more people to access it. You've got readers that will read it for you. So if you're short of sight and you can't read the words, it will read it for you. And it's going to go cloud-based. Most of them probably already are cloud-based. And so it's not going to be using up your server. You might not even need to purchase a server for your school. It'll all be up there doing it automatically. And so LMSs are here, and they are going to keep going, and they're just going to get better and better. But as I said before, think about, do I need one? If yes, what do I need? Because technology is there to serve us, not us to serve technology. Okay, question time. Slightly different. You need to scan that QR code and type in your question. And it should come up on here. Because I know some people don't want to get in the microphone and they don't want to ask a question in front of everybody. But you can do it anonymously here. So if you have a question, scan that, ask your question. I can't guarantee I can answer them all, but you can ask them. How do we ensure optimum utilization of LMS? We already have one in our school. Good question. I think, and I don't know whether you're talking about a student one here or a CPD one, but I'll share from my experience of a CPD one. We implemented one in September, and if you were looking closely at that dashboard as it came up, you'll see not many teachers have signed up, not many teachers have done the first training. And so I think it's about promoting it, it's about motivating, it's about people seeing why it is needed, people seeing that learning is important and lifelong learning is important. I liked what was said this morning about lifelong learning and us being role models. And we are there as role models to the students. And if they know we're learning, they're going to learn. And I would say optimizing it comes through training and comes through making sure people know how to use it. Find out what features it's got. There's lots of features on LMSs that we often don't use. Don't try and introduce them all at once. Introduce them bit by bit by bit. So introduce one bit, get them used to that, then introduce the next bit, get them used to that. And so that helps with using it as much as you can. How early can we start with flipped classrooms using LMS? As in how young the children would be? Is that the... How young the children would be? As soon as they can learn independently. So if it's a video, they can access that as young as. Obviously, if they're as young as, then parents need to be on board because they'll have to enable it. But yeah, as young as they can read it or watch it.
Address the social emotional intelligence which may be missing when we are giving all the data, lesson plans and everything. How do, as an educator or maybe as a management person, how would I know that this child has been learning or they are just using generative AI? So the social emotional intelligence or maybe the personal connect which a teacher makes with the student when they are in the classroom. So how do we address that? That would be my question. Because this is the question which is often asked by the educators when we introduce any LMS or MIS to them. So that's what I would love to know that.
An LMS is a tool. It is that much of your education. So an LMS is there to help you with the bits that you can't do. So the social emotional intelligence, an LMS can't do. But it gives you the time for you to be able to spend time getting to know your students because you're not sitting there marking 50 books. It's done it for you. And so you then have that time freed up to spend time building relationships with the students. So an LMS and MIS, they're not the answer to everything. They're a little bit of education that helps you do the important bit, which is getting to know the students and helping them learn.
Any final questions, perhaps from the online community? If not, we'll say thank you so much, Ms. Townsend.
Thank you.